Okay, part 2, let's get these last 3 done. Okay, so we want to write the converse, inverse, contrapositive, and determine the truth value of all 3 statements. Okay, so I took the liberty of writing these, and so we can just kind of throw them up there. So for number 13, I might need to zoom out a little bit, but the first one, it says if 2 angles are complementary, then their measure is 90. That is true, right? If we have 2 complementary, it means they add together to make 90. So that's a true statement. Zooming out 1, we're going to go ahead and get these ones, okay? Zooming out 2 maybe. There we go. Okay. Converse. If sum is 90, so we're flip-flopping, right? We flip the statement, okay? So it's going to go, the back end is going to come to the front. So if sum is 90, then they're complementary, okay? Well, if the sum of 2 angles is 90, then complementary, well, that's the definition. So yes, that's true. I can't come up with a counterexample for that. Inverse. We don't change the order. Notice it starts with complementary, ends with sum, just like up here. Or sorry, starts with complementary and ends with 90. But we have the not. So if not complementary, then the sum is not 90. Well, that's true as well, right? If it's not complementary, then it can't be 90. Otherwise, they would be complementary. And the contrapositive. If it's not 90 degrees, so if the 2 angles do not sum to 90 degrees, then it's not complementary. That is also true. So we actually get 4 true statements in this one, which is kind of cool. Kind of rare, but kind of cool. Notice I'm kind of using a little bit more shorthand. I have the full understanding. When I say complementary, I do mean 2 angles are complementary. And when I say 90, I do mean the measure of the sum is the 90. I'm not writing it fully out, so we don't have to waste our whole hand, but we do want to think about the entire words when we're doing these problems. Okay. Next one. If the temperature outside is below freezing, then ice can form on sidewalks. That is true, right? That is possible. All right. Now let's take a look at our converse. So we flip it. If ice can form on the sidewalk, then it's freezing. Okay, well, ice cannot be present unless the temperature outside is below freezing. So this actually has to be true. Okay, now we do the inverse. So keep the same order, but we just say not. So if the temperature is not below freezing, then ice cannot form on sidewalks. Well, that's true. Ice cannot be present unless it's freezing. Okay. Last one. If ice cannot form on the sidewalk, so if ice cannot form on the sidewalk, then it is not freezing. I would again say this is true. Again, it's the sentence says ice can form. It doesn't mean it will form. It just means it can form. Obviously, there needs to be water present for ice to occur. But if ice cannot form on the sidewalk, then it's probably because it's not freezing. So I would say that this is also a true statement. That one you could have a hard time arguing. But I would say true, 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 true on all those. Okay. Our last one is more mathematical, and the problem that you're going to get on your quiz is going to be a little bit more mathematical and be a little bit easier for us to kind of justify. If a figure is a rectangle, then it has exactly 4 sides. That's true. A rectangle doesn't have 5 sides, it doesn't have 3 sides, it has 4. So our converse would flip it. If it has exactly 4 sides, then it's a rectangle. We know this to be false. Prime example. Again, if we ever get false, we give a counter. A square has 4 sides. Okay, that doesn't mean it has to be a rectangle. Or if we want, we could say a trapezoid, right? If you want to get really technical, we can get more technical. Next, inverse. We keep the same order, but we just say not. If not a rectangle, so if it's not a rectangle, then not 4 sides. This is false. We could also talk about a trapezoid. Trapezoid is not a rectangle. However, it does have 4 sides, so this disproves our inverse statement. Last one. If not 4 sides, so if it doesn't have 4 sides, then it cannot be a rectangle. Okay, not 4 sides. That could be 5, that could be 3. Could any shape that has 5 or 3 sides be a rectangle and disprove this? Unfortunately not. So this is, in fact, a true statement. Okay. Alright guys, good luck on the group quiz tomorrow. Remember, your group quiz, whatever one person gets, everybody in the group gets, and you don't know who I am going to grade. Alright? Good luck. We'll see you later.